I feel like I got left with a feeling of confusion. Yeah, a feeling of confusion. Let's talk about it.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review. This is actually the finale, which is episode 4, season 1 of XSCAPE, Still Kicking It. This is the final episode. Now, like I said, I feel as though I got left with a feeling of confusion because we'll just talk about it, and you'll understand when I get to the end of it. So it's really not a whole lot because there's not a whole lot that took place. One thing was that when we first started off this episode, they were on their way to the Essence Fest. No real big deals. Tiny's feelings were hurt that Tech didn't show up. Yeah, she felt some kind of way about that. Coming right down off of the whole BET thing, they were on a high. Everything went really well. They were happy with Mona. They were just happy with everything all the way around. Only thing to do now is get Candy on board. Now, they're talking about all of this touring and these tour dates and all of that. So now you have more people coming in to the business, which ends up bringing in this guy, Michael Malden, who is now a promoter of live shows, where this bastard had a lot of nerve to even show his face trying to come in. You know, this little show has had me backpedaling and jumping and flipping my bike all over the place because now I'm getting ready to take up for Tasha. And y'all know I've been tearing Tasha's ass up since we started. But this guy was the guy who was actually dealing with, this is the one that called, I don't believe he's really Jermaine Dupri's father, but he's just kind of like his father in business kind of thing. Like Jermaine looks up to him. That's what the understanding I got of who he is. This is the one that Tamika actually accused Candy of sleeping with, okay? So this guy is like Jermaine's right-hand man. He was instrumental in all of that stuff that was going on with Tasha's record deal, okay? So there was a $300,000 advance for Tasha's record deal. And from what I could gather, you know, she said that Jermaine bounced and left and went to a different record company, and then her deal just kind of fell out from up underneath her, and that was that. And that the people that were working with her didn't stick up for her. This guy here, this Michael Malden, is the people. Okay? So Jermaine left. And then Michael just literally just dropped the ball and just left it there. He literally fucked up her money, her advance money, and he bounced. Then there were no calls returned or anything like that. And then it went on to explain how there was studio time and this thing, that thing, and the other thing, which that's how it works. They give you, the record company gives you an advance. You use those things to produce your product. And then when your product starts to sell, you pay the money back. And, you know, in a perfect world, you'd have a $300,000 advance. And when your album starts selling, hopefully it would triple that. So you would pay the $300,000 back. And the $600,000 would basically be, a big portion of the $600,000 extra would be yours, ideally. What ended up happening with Tasha is the product didn't get done. The product got shelved and just fell all the way out. That was it. And Mr. Michael Malden was nowhere around to even speak up for her. Then there were funds that weren't really accounted for for things. They're saying, you know, all the studio time and things that she never actually really had. So she only went in the studio like twice. And Lord knows she ain't spent no $300,000 up in no studio twice. Whose studio was she in? You know, that's crazy. I'm like, was she sitting in with Prince or Michael Jackson? What? So this is where she was with that. Now, she ain't heard from this bastard in 18, 19 years. Period. And then you bring your stinking ass back here and show your face with a sales pitch. Now you are a promoter of live events and you want to jump onto the XSCAPE coattail? Are you kidding me, sir? I said, where's Rocco at? Because, see, that's where I was at with it. Professionalism just went out the door. Where's Rocco? You need to be whooping his ass right now. Just at the fact that he was bold enough to even show up here. Making a sales pitch. And now he want to apologize to LaToya. Because he's trying to get on. Oh, yeah, I really want to be a part of it. Just that him. Hey, don't come here trying to get on with no, I'm sorry, $300,000 later. Because Tasha had to pay that money back. Anyway. See, because nobody cares. If your project don't get off the ground, you still owe the record company the money back. Who spent the money? Where'd the money go? It didn't even make no difference because the papers and the signature was LaToya Scott. She had to pay that money back. And that thing was over there crying, told her, so she said, I just want to punch him in his face. I said, girl, I don't know why you didn't. I don't know why you didn't punch him in his face, kick him in his ass, and split his wig, honey. That's what you should have did. I couldn't believe. I said, oh my God, the nerve of people. But in that moment, now Tasha shit's on the table, and she's dealing with an apology that she knows is not sincere. So now she kind of see where Candy's at and how she feels with the apology that in her heart she doesn't feel like is sincere. So that whole thing came up, and then she was kind of working with it for a minute, and then she made a comment like, you know, well, my thing is totally different. No, your thing's not different. The only difference is that yours involves money, and you had to pay back money that this guy basically stole. Because that's, I can't even, for lack of better words, stole. You had to pay that money back. So that's the only difference. So they kind of went through that. And I felt so bad for her. And I said, I usually tear that damn Tasha up. I ain't going to tear you up tonight, baby. Because I feel you. I feel you. That's like one of the best ways to get me to fuck you up. Mess with my kids, mess with my money out. And I will raise to the occasion. And I will fuck you up. So I felt real bad for her. Real bad. I was like, wow. I just couldn't believe the nerve of that guy, like to even show up on this show. There should have been nothing that Bravo could have offered him to make him show up. Because he should have known. I look like, girl, you in danger, girl. Rocco should have been there to bang him right in the front, right up at the top of his forehead, honey. But anyway, so that was that. And then there was Tamika telling Tasha, you got to let it go. God this and God that. Now, Tamika, this time is your time. I got Candy last time. Bitch, it's your turn. Do you know how many times that I sat here and got tired on this season, but especially today, hearing you talk about how this mess is God's plan and how God is at the bottom of this, that thing, and the other, and all of that. And you do realize that God don't bless no mess. And this right here is some mess. That you just want some money. You want some money. You be talking that mess. It's a guilt trip. You do the God guilt trip is basically what you do. You did it with just anybody that seems as though they don't want to be on board with what the shit is. You throw that God guilt up in there. And then if you keep listening to you long enough, you always come back around to shows and money. Because you're full of what? Shit. This is all about a dollar bill for you, and you'll kiss whatever amount of ass that you need to kiss You'll apologize as many times as you need to get this shit off the ground because you want the money. You're not authentic. Not at all. It is what it is. I do feel like, I feel like you regret what you did because of how the outcome was and how it hit you in the pocket and how you've struggled throughout the years when things probably could have been a lot easier for you. I think you regret what you did. Though I think if you had to do it all over again, I think that you're a messy bitch and you would do it the same way. That's what I think. So I got really sick of you and that. And she's just a manipulator. Even when they had the scene with her and Candy sitting out and she's looking at Candy, leading, like trying to call herself leading her, like you're going to try to make me feel what you want me to feel. Girl, ain't nobody got time for that crackhead shit. Get out of here. I just, y'all notice how she does that? Bitch, I don't agree. So you can stop bugging your old eyes out, ugly, and doing all that bullshit. Ain't nobody thinking about you. Clown. She ain't sincere. She ain't sincere. But anyway. So let's move on to Essence Fest. Mona kind of bamboozled them because it was like this big deal about them doing the Essence Fest, but they didn't really do the Essence Fest. They really did like the outside of the Essence Fest. Kind of like when people do the BET experience, where you're not really on the BET Awards, you're really outside in the heat on that little stage with the people standing around. That's kind of where they were. It was a lounge, super lounge. It wasn't that big, in conjunction to the main stage. So they weren't on the main stage, and then everybody that wanted to see them couldn't even fit in the room. It was kind of like, okay, we're at the Essence Festival, and we got XSCAPE over here performing in the bathroom. That's how they're set. It was like they were performing in the shit house. So I was like, Mona, you went and did you put 20 on 10, Mona, bitch. You tried it. But whatever. On their resume, it'll still read as they performed at the Essence Fest. But they really didn't perform on the Essence Fest. They didn't perform on the Essence Fest large stage. They actually performed in the powder room of the Superdome. But that's cool. Whatever. Still, more of a crowd than I'll probably ever perform for. So it's cool. But again, they had their hopes up higher because they felt like, oh, we're getting ready to perform at the Essence Fest. And they were a little down about it. But they made it work. So next they end up going on down to, and that's where, at the Essence Fest, Tip didn't show up. Not at all. And Tiny was feeling some kind of way. Okay, so let's go over to Detroit. They do the Detroit show. Tip showed up and brought the kids, so he made up for it. So that was good. They do the show. They contacted Karen Clark Sheard. And they did that Is My Living in Vain, which is actually originally a Clark Sisters song. They had Karen come out. Well, baby, listen. I don't know if you all, because I know a lot of you all that watch, a lot of y'all are younger. And a lot of y'all are know what's going on. But for those of you who don't know what's going on, if you don't know about the Clark sisters and you don't know about Karen Clark Sheard, and I ain't talking about Kiki Sheard. Kiki cool. But if you don't know about her mama, you need to Google and Google fast or search in YouTube. Karen Clark Sheard plays no games on a microphone. You understand me? Now, XSCAPE was doing what they was doing. Okay? Karen Clark Sheard came on stage, baby, and made them look like they were at a school, after school play, honey. She got the wailing and Karen. I said, girl, Karen, stop playing with these people. Stop playing with these people. Karen does all type of vocal acrobatics with her voice. Karen creates echoes by herself without an echo machine and all that kind of shit. Karen is a beast vocally. And she just came out there and I was like, oh my God, horrible. It was, I said, girl, stop playing. But I love the fact that they were, I hated their beginnings on both shows that they did. Wearing those, I understand what they were doing. They were like paying homage to who they used to be. And they had these workmen overalls on. That shit looked terrible. I'm like, damn, y'all could have did a better version of it. That shit looked terrible. Go find the people that airbrush BBDs or something. Jumpers or something. Them shits look horrible. That shit looked like it came straight out of Gabriel Brothers. But they had that on, and I hated it. Then they put on their cat suits. But when they went to do the little gospel piece, they actually put on choir robes. And I thought that was cool that they literally showed respect for, because, women aren't really supposed to show, when it comes to church and, a gospel setting, women are not supposed to show their bodies that way, with what they had on. And what they had on was decent. They weren't indecent, but they weren't dressed properly for church. So I kind of like the fact that they still kept that tradition thing going about being a little bit modest, and they went on to put these on. But looking at the way that Karen was dressed, they just needed a better choir robe. God knows they could have called me up, honey, and I would have designed something for them as far as choir robes. These robes they had on were just the shit show. They look like some cheap ass graduation gowns. I was like, oh no, child, that don't say stage at all. Not at all. So y'all going on 29 city tour, y'all give me a goddamn call, honey, because I could do 4 choir robes for y'all that'll look better than that shit you had on. Because I said this kindergarten commencement gowns y'all had, I can't with those. That taffeta was wearing my nerves then. But anyway, so they did all that, and it was cool. The little concert went good. Then they went into this thing with that Tamika. She gets all up in it. She want to seal the deal with Candy. She pulled Candy back out on stage right when they were getting to excuse themselves. She pulled Candy back out, and then she going to do the public apology all over again. And I just looked and said, really? Now, Tamika, and you're trying to seal the deal again to make sure Candy knows you're sorry and all of this. But again, it's about money. It ain't about nothing else. This is about money. And then you did it in front of all these people. You're giving me attention-seeking whore. I was like, okay, enough. I had enough. But for whatever reason, Candy said that the apology really worked for her. Of course, she cried. Because that's what she does. She cries. She cried. They hugged. Everything was everything. Everybody was happy. And Candy was happy. And she said she was happy about the apology. And that I think I want to do some more shows. Okay, this, that, and the other. And then the very last line. Candy signed on with them to do more shows. And then the very last thing, they went on to make music. Candy declined to make more music. Girl, you're just giving a ball of confusion. Just a ball of confusion. Candy all like this. Crazy as hell. But that's basically where it ended. I said, thank God. Okay, 4 weeks was enough. It was cool. It was entertaining to watch because it did take you on an emotional roller coaster, because one day you be mad as hell at Candy, then the next day you kind of feel sorry for her. Same thing like with Tamika, like child, Tasha and Candy, y'all took me on an emotional roller coaster. That Tamika, you ain't took me nowhere, bitch. I don't trust you. I don't trust you, and I don't believe anything you say, bitch. Nothing. The only thing I believe is that you want to do more shows and make $20 more. That's all I believe about you. Girl, I got my good eye on you, bitch. Tiny, girl, you just want to be outside. You cool with whatever the fuck it is. You just want to be outside, bitch. Anyway, Candy, you just want somebody to kiss your ass. Period. And Latasha, you know you a bitch, but it's okay. All right, anyway, I'm done with this. XSCAPE, yeah, they still kicking it for now. Later, y'all.